So now I want to introduce you to the three-dot menu that's next to any of your budget tabs up here. If you click on that, this is where you can rename your budget. Pretty self-explanatory. And then this is something that's quite interesting, which is the import feature. If you're working now in Movie Magic and you want to port over to Periscope, you can export an XML file from your Movie Magic and drag that in here, and it's going to load up. And this is going to mimic my Movie Magic budget. Now, there's a few things you're going to have to do if you do that. Because typically, your templates that you use here in Periscope are going to have certain subtotals that are already baked in, like total post-production, total below the line. That's not going to be the case when you import a budget from Movie Magic, because you're not going to have a template that you're importing it to. This is an easy way to build your template from your company's chart of accounts instead of having to manually type in all of that information. But it's pretty easy to add in those subtotals. If I'm here on production staff, which is the first line after my above the line costs, and I right click it, I can insert a production total, and there we go. I can name that above the line. And then I can do that everywhere. I can do that here for post, insert production total, post, production. The other thing that you're going to have to do manually if you import a budget is you're going to have to go and make sure that your groups, globals, and fringes are all lining up. Because Movie Magic and most budgeting software are not going to export those values. They certainly don't show up in your PDF, and they're not going to come out in an XML. So if you've globaled your shoot days, what's going to happen with your import is it's going to show the value of that global. It's not going to import the global itself. So you would have to go and replace those globals as well as your fringes and groups. So you're saving yourself a ton of time by not having to retype and copy in all of the different words and numbers that you've created, but you will have to go back and do your own globals, groups, and a few other things like the subtotals in the top sheet that I mentioned. So if we look here in production staff, normally I would have these globaled out. Prep at 6 weeks, shoot at 4 weeks. That would actually be SW for me. And that would populate across all of my budget. But my SW that's already in here is 6 weeks. So I need to change that to 4. And I'm going to have to go through and I'm going to have to change all of these. There we go. So if I change all of these, you get the picture. This is days, so I want to make this shoot days, 22. Where are my shoot days here? 22. Okay. Now SD here. Yeah. So chances are you probably have your budget in an Excel sheet or Movie Magic or another application. You can get it over into Periscope pretty easily, but there's a little bit of extra work that's going to have to go along with it. If you're working in Excel now, it says here, use this XLSX template. So I can download that, and it's going to give me an Excel sheet that I can then populate, and I can upload that into Periscope as well. In this case, you can put your fringes and your groups and your globals right here into the spreadsheet. Another really cool thing that we built in that you can access through the three-dot menu is the split view. I love the split view. something I've always wanted for many, many years, and I don't know why it didn't exist before. But this allows me to be open in one category on one side and another on the other. For instance, in my transportation, I can open up my drivers and vans here on this side, and over on this side, I can go into the fuel and tolls. And the way this budget is working, I've got 30 different vehicles that I need to budget for their gas. And I need to check here. Do I have 30 vehicles that I've listed out here in my budget? Okay, actually, no. We just changed it. It's actually 25 now. So it's easy to see across a couple of different categories at the same time. I really love the split view. But one thing to know is you have to close the split view in order to access these buttons here, your export, compare, new version, share, history. We'll go over all that in another video, but if you're using the split view, those features are not going to be accessible. So just be sure to close those when you need them. The three-dot menu is also where you can close a budget out. I've got 4 budgets open here. Sometimes I have 10. Time to close a few, clean out some brain space.